Hey, Jason Rice here. Another lot party quick tip. I want to make sure you don't kill the messenger. Just kill the message. No, I'm joking. So, what I'm doing here, and I'm pulling up Facebook. Hold on, I'm gonna mute this down. If you're on Facebook, like it, join, give me some comments. What I want to do is I'm going to share my screen here in a second. And what I want to share is I'm going to go live to a third-party site. I'm going to start out. I am not bashing this third-party site. You can find this on your own dealer's website. You can find this on any other third-party websites. I'm just using this third-party website to make a point because of the sheer volume of vehicles listed there. And the fact, I think there is a little bit of discrepancy of the volume of listings that they have. But again, I'm not bashing this provider. I just want to show you, and you're going to see a lot from me. You have in the last week. What is up, Caleb? Is you're going to hear a lot from me. Pretty much 2021. I realized, not that I'm bashing market data. I guess I am. I just want to show some discrepancies in it so you just don't rely solely on market data to make inventory decisions. You're going to see me throw out WTF, and it's just a fun play on the acronym of what we call work the facts. And what we want to do is focus dealers to focus on what's actually factual, what's actually happening on their lot, because that's the truth. Other than that, when you start looking at market data and everything, it gets very skewed. And that's why I'm going to share one of these third-party listings here on this video. So if you're listening to, and just let everybody know, I have YouTube, I have everything I put on podcast. If you listen on the podcast, watch the video on YouTube or on my Facebook. This will break this down. And again, Caleb, thanks for the shout out. I'm going to go ahead and show my screen. Again, I'm going to say I'm not bashing this provider. I'm not picking this one over the other because of likes or dislikes. Have your views of whoever you want to view this provider with. It's not has anything to do with that. If anything, it has to point the fingers back at the dealership on the lack of information that dealers are pushing out. And this message that I said, and I've talked internally to my people, I'm not bashing when I'm talking about market data. I'm not bashing a particular inventory management tool, because all inventory management tools, no matter which one you're using, and if you're wondering what I mean, inventory management tool would be like Max Digital First Look / Dealers Link, vAuto, Inventory Plus. I'm not bashing them because, again, that market data is important. And once you figure out a number, regardless good or bad, if that number is consistent, then it is a point of reference. Okay, so but that market data that these inventory management tools are using is mostly being driven by the data that's out on the market, like these third-party websites, your own dealership's websites, which only come from the dealers themselves. And I think, again, I'm not here to bash these websites. I'm not here to bash these inventory management tools, but they all spit out the information that's coming from the dealers. And I think dealers are thick-skinned enough to openly admit, yeah, I know we suck. We can't get our photos right. I know we miss a lot of opportunities. We don't have, sunroofs and navs and the important goodies, and again, anybody, when you look at a lot of your listings or mistakes, this is what's going into these third-party aggregates in your own websites, which then feed into inventory management tool, which then feed into your decisions on market data. So again, no one's really the culprit other than the dealer body. And no matter how good you do, there's thousands of other dealerships that are going to be skewing this. So let me get right into it. I'm going to share my screen right now, and I'm going to move this over here so it don't throw things off. And I'm going to go right here. So now I don't see you, or you don't see me, but again, I'm on a third-party site. I did my zip code nationwide, and I looked at F-150s for sale because it's the #1 selling vehicle in the country. And what's cool about these sites is you'll be able to, it'll give you specific numbers. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of focus on are things that we may know. And what we do know, I know, and here I narrowed this down to 2008 years, 2008 to newer, because again, I didn't want to pull any older ones in. That might not be the case, but I'm looking for lariats. I can do lariat limited or lariat rear-wheel drive. That doesn't matter. What I want to show you here, there's 9,200 lariats listed online. 9,200, remember that number, almost 10,000. Now, I'm going to look at this car right here. I'm going to zoom in. You and I both know that right there is not a lariat. That's an XL, right? Okay. The one next to it's probably borderline, almost looks like an XLT. But there's an obvious not lariat and a lariat feed. Now, if we scroll over, and that one's just kind of, and that's just one page here, okay? But really what I want to show you are a few things. Now, this you could tell me is not important, but think about market data. If you really want to analyze market data and say what's selling, what's the hot movers, I would say people further down the sales funnel are very color oriented. They want a specific color. If you want to know, does black sell better than white, blah, 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 is gray better than silver, unknown 537. So a good chunk of vehicle exterior color unknown and interior 2,600. You're talking a third without interior color. So we really don't know, does the lighter gray sell better than the tans, things like that. But that aside, okay, look right here. Lariat package, 2,400 only have a lariat package out of what? Almost 10,000. So 75% of these lariats are not listed with lariat package, which is fine. Up top again, I narrowed down the lariat package lariats, but anyways, the big thing I wanted to point out is leather seats. Again, over 9,000 cars listed here, not close to 10, but let's just say, and 6,000. We know, and this is what I was talking about earlier. We know for a fact, lariat standard feature, part of lariat is leather seats. So if 3,000 are missing leather seats as a key feature, you're talking about a 30% discrepancy in listing information. So not just the fact that I just showed you, here's an XL in this information, but you're running into cars without interior and exterior. Can you really determine if that vehicle, look at this truck right here. I guarantee you, that's not a lariat, not just based off the bumper, but look at the door handles. Door handle lariats are going to be painted typically or chrome. They're not going to be black. It's a guess, but I don't know. Well, you could dig deeper. That's not my point. The point is the data coming into these sites are very inaccurate. Then we're going to take this inaccurate data and try to make decisions on our inventory. And goes back to the point I'm going to stop sharing that, WTF, work your facts. What is factual? Because this data is skewed. And again, a good point of reference is a good point of reference. It is important to know it. I'm not saying we're not. No different than when I'm looking at retail in a car and looking at retail data, I still look at wholesale information, Black Book and MMR, NADA. I look at that information, but I'm not going to just solely make my retail decisions, pricing, how fast do I want to get off this car based off of MMR wholesale data. But it's still important data. So market data is important, but you can't make it your sole. You got to figure out what's going on in your lot. Are you bleeding through? Is your 31 to 45 carry rate higher than your sale rate? And if so, if that doesn't change, you're going to bleed through. Are you heavy in trucks? Are you heavy in intermediate cars? Are you heavy in 17s? Is the car converting? When's the last time I changed the price? How many leads have I got on it? Those are all type of decisions that you want to make, and not just solely based it on a particular market data information. Okay, so you're going to see a lot from me about work the facts, or WTF. I'm going to have fun with that abbreviations there, but take a look at this. You could do it in your market. Just play around and really analyze what the market data is, and then try to figure out how much you depend on that market data to make your decisions. I know a lot of people go into inventory management tool and just look at cars that they're price high in the market or slow movers and things like that, and that's how they make decisions. But all that, again, back to the basic. All that information, by the time it hits an inventory management tool, was feed it from these third-party and dealer listing sites, which came from the dealers in the first place, which, again, most dealers can openly admit, they have thick skin enough to know they're not as effective as they could be when it comes to listing inventory. Hope this was helpful. If you want a free inventory evaluation, go to lotpop.com. We can show you what we do when we look at Work the Truth. We have a lot of data based off of your store, what's going on there, combine that with the market data, and use both to make better decisions. So if you're interested in WTF and what we're talking about, hit us up, lotpop.com, jrice@lotpop.com, Facebook message. Again, everything goes up on YouTube and SoundCloud, so you can podcast if you're interested. And there's 200, probably 300 now. Over the 4 or 5 years now, I've been putting out videos and tips out there for